Well, hello there. Out on a lovely Sunday afternoon here in September, and well, you should gather by now from all these videos that I like challenges. Well, I've thrown another one at myself today. Come out to a new trail system up at Talking Rock Nature Preserve, which looks like it's more of a mixed-use trail than I had anticipated. Lots of bike riding going on, which, you know, we've worked with bike riding trails, and that is, you know, we've kind of got a system down for that, and it's not really a problem. But I've added the added complexity of a hiking companion today. So when I'm coordinating and getting off the trail for an upcoming bike rider, I gotta be thinking a little bit further ahead, because it's not just me I gotta get off, I gotta get Buddy off too. But so far we've passed about 12 or 13 bikes that have come by us, and he's done really well so far, has been very well behaved, listening to the orders to get off the trail, and holding still while the bikes all pass, not barking or lunging or anything like that, which at home he's been known to get agitated by bikes going by. So glad he's behaving himself out on the trail today. But like I said, it's a new trail system for us. We're gonna see how things look out here. Maybe hope to get somewhere around 5 miles or so in, and we'll let you know what we see along the way. Continuing on, haven't seen any more bikers since my intro, but trail so far is really nice. This is the furthest north I've gone for having a trail that was also a bike riding trail. You know, I've obviously gone further north on just straight hiking trails, and the nature of this one a little bit different from many of the other biking trails I've done, where, you know, those were a little bit more opened. I mean, it's still, you know, within the midst of woods, but the woods were, you know, not quite as closed in growth. It was a little bit more spaced out between trees and such, so you could have a little bit better lines of sight. So happen to be even extra vigilant today, because unless you hear them coming, you may not see any bikes until they're right on top of you. But it does provide plenty of shade, and since it's still pretty warm out, it's up in the mid 80s and not much breeze right now, so I'm appreciating the shade. And you know, I'll reap the pros with the cons. And, you know, the closed in, it's not really a con, it's just a difference that you have to be aware of and act accordingly. So I actually like it when the woods are kind of closed in. But Buddy seems to be enjoying himself, staying focused on the trail ahead and doing his thing. One thing about the mixed-use trails that are heavily geared towards the biking is there's not many places along the trail where you can just, you know, pause, sit down, rest, get some water, without risk of, you know, basically being right in the middle of the trail when a bike comes by. So it's nice that they do build out little amenity features like benches, or as you saw in that last picture, even a full picnic table with a couple of benches at various places along the trail to give you a place to stop, take a break, rest up, water up, etc. Because otherwise it could be a rough stretch, not really feeling comfortable stopping anywhere. So glad they take that into consideration when building these trails out, and Buddy appreciates it too. He he drained almost a full bottle of water last time we stopped. So he's working on his hydration as well. Well, I've completed the first loop of the ones I'm doing today, the John's Corner Trail, and now Buddy and I have made our way over onto the Nitro South Trail. It's a little bit more open than the other. Starting to feel a little bit of a breeze even, so that's welcome. Haven't seen a whole lot of bike traffic since that initial group that passed me early on, so I'm wondering if it's late enough in the afternoon that the majority of the bikers were out here starting off much earlier in the day and have finished their runs for the most part, and leaving me the trail mostly to myself. So if that's the case, Buddy and I will appreciate it. If not, we'll quickly get out of the way. But we're continuing on now. We'll see what this loop has. Well, we finished up the Nitro South loop. Buddy took a little bit of a rest at the junction point of the trails, got some more water in him. I did likewise. And now we're gonna finish things out doing the Nitro North Trail. This one's a little bit different than the other two because it's not a loop, it's a out and back two-way trail. So I could potentially have bikes coming from either direction. So I gotta be doubly on point with my attention, and we'll be retreading our course after we reach the terminus of the trail. So we'll see what this one holds. It's got, I think, the most elevation change of the 3 trail sections that we're doing today. So I don't think it's anything too extreme. I think it's only somewhere between 200 and 300 feet of elevation, but it looks like it's a steady up all the way out, and then, you know, obviously we'll be descending coming back. But hopefully it's nothing too terrible. Still plenty warm out here, and that little bit of breeze I had is kind of disappeared. So we'll see what the trail here holds and check in along the way. Well, we made it all the way out to the northern terminus, to the northern trailhead and parking lot area. And when we paused and started to turn around to go back down the same path we had just come up, Buddy turned and gave me a look like, "Seriously, Dad, I am done. You're making me walk that same trail again?" And you know, it's not that bad. We got probably just under a mile to go to finish out, and he's actually doing really well out here today. It's been a while since we've been out on a good long hike together, so glad to see he's done so well. But yeah, I think he's ready to be done, and so we'll get back to the trailhead and find a little shady spot with a bench or a picnic table, let him stretch out and relax for a little bit and get some water before we pack up and head out. So, this trail's then probably, you know, despite the fact that it's essentially a straight shot up, has been more typical of a lot of the other bike trails that I've been on. It's, as you can see out ahead of me, a lot more open, and you have more of those banking curves that I'm used to, whereas the other ones I've been on today, other than that, you know, boardwalk Tim's Corner or Tim's Turn or whatever it was that we showed on the Nitro South, everything else has been relatively, you know, flat turns, you know, wide, where you don't have the sharp high banks that you have to go around when you're on a bike. So that's been a little bit easier on the ankles today, but this one's been back to more traditional bike path form, and we made it through okay. But I think we'll both be glad to finish up and get probably somewhere just over 6 miles in today, which is a good afternoon hike for us. Still got lots of miles to make up to get this deficit closed out. Probably, I was doing some rough calculations, probably won't be able to get it all finished, all caught up by the end of September. I'd have to be averaging about 5 miles a day, and that's just not likely to happen. So we'll do what we can to close the gap and know that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So as long as we close the gap before the end of the year, all's good. All right, well, we're getting close to the end. Probably have somewhere between half and a quarter mile left. So I'm gonna go ahead and close things out. Well, Buddy and I have enjoyed ourselves out here today. It's been good to get him back out on the trail, and he's done great. We have had the trail mostly to ourselves, other than the initial group of bikers that I mentioned early on. And then here on this Nitro North stretch, we passed one couple coming down the trail as we were heading up it. And other than that, we've been on our own. So I think this trail probably got a lot more traffic earlier today, especially when the temperatures were a little bit cooler. On a holiday weekend like this, I'm anticipating it probably saw a fair number of people out here. But we're now into the late afternoon, and Buddy and I have pretty much had it to ourselves, as I said, and we're going to finish it that way, it looks like. So thanks again, as always, for coming along with us, and we will see you on the next trail.